red. Oh look, I'm getting a knife. I'm so excited. Look at this real life excitement. Oh, look at it. It's a totally real knife. Have you heard of this new site called CSGO Lotto? I don't own it, I swear. A few years ago, I made a video talking about my opinions on the use of microtransactions in video games, where I thought they were acceptable and where I thought they were outright ridiculous. In the time since, a lot has changed, especially involving the formation of various game economies. And while these existed in the form of Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Go, I feel things have really started to get out of control. When I say game economy, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about an ecosystem that exists within various games. When people refer to the economy of a game, they're talking about one specific thing, perceived value of in-game items, or skins as they're commonly known. Just because I use the word perceived, that doesn't mean these items don't have any actual value. Oh no, they certainly do. Value going into the hundreds and in some cases into the thousands. More often than not, these skins are acquired by unboxing crates with keys, which costs $2.50 each, by the way. But in rare cases, they can be acquired by just playing the game. 99% of the time, the ones achieved by just playing are completely worthless, and that is very intentional. It encourages you to spend money on crates. A box of dreams, a box of potential. It could be anything. It could be a $200 knife. It could also just be a 4-cent gun skin, you know. Due to the very nature of this system, it should come as no surprise that many people on YouTube have used this to their benefit and their growth. Channels such as Team Martin.
And we found this new site called CSGO Lottos.
Is this still funny? Is this still relevant meme? Ever since I first set my eyes on these crates, these boxes, I've been telling myself that this is just gambling. I'm paying $2.50 for a chance of something rare and valuable. While it's not gambling in the strictest sense, it's more akin to something like Pokemon cards. Over the years, I couldn't tell you how much money my parents have spent on Pokemon cards. But when you really think about it, it's the same thing. You're paying money for a chance of something rare. When in actuality this is true, things on Steam are very different. Because when you unbox something on Steam, you can immediately take the item to the Steam market and check its value. In fact, if you highlight the item in your inventory, it shows you the value right there. There is no, oh, I've paid $2.50, I have a cool skin. Value is always an inherent factor when you unbox something on Steam. Sure, the Steam market is optional, but if you unbox something worth hundreds of dollars, chances are you're probably going to know about it. I found that at least with Pokemon cards, I was always adding something to a collection. Sure, I'm adding guns to a collection of guns in Counter-Strike. But I never sat there and looked at my Pokemon cards and thought, I wonder what these are worth. I didn't care. It was about adding stuff to a collection. Steam is sure to let you know, the instant you look at that item in your inventory, how much money you've lost on opening that crate. You spent $2.50 opening the crate? Well, here you go. You've got a 3-cent skin. There is lost money right there. It shows it to you. By comparison, I've never felt like I lost anything with Pokemon cards. I mean, sure, it wasn't my money, but it was money that was allotted to be spent on me, and I was always very grateful of having Pokemon cards. If my parents bought me money to buy keys for Counter-Strike when I was a kid, I would probably be very disappointed. I honestly would, because I'm able to see then and there that I've wasted this money. Straight up. What are skins, really, though? They're nothing. They don't really exist in any real capacity. But the same argument could be made for digital games, for example. Say I buy a game on Origin. Does that have any value? I mean, to me it does. I have that inherent entertainment value. But what about as a whole? Well, not really. Digital goods are downloads, infinitely reprintable and indefinitely replaceable. Because these items don't exist in any physical form, you don't really own them as per se. You merely own the license which allows you to use them. And that's really what you're paying for. Skins, a lot like digital goods, don't exist in any real sense, but they have real-world value. It could be argued that a game on Origin has no value once you've paid for it. Except for own personal entertainment, of course. Valve has created and engineered a system where they control an entire economy inside their games. And trick people into thinking it's fair game. A Ferrari is worth more than a Ford, for example. But in Valve's little walled-off garden, the values of these items are determined by how often they show up. And Valve controls that. A Ferrari is more valuable than a Ford for reasons which can be identified in the real world. an AK-47 fuel injector is theoretically on the same level as, say, a blue laminate, as far as the game is concerned. But these two items vary wildly in price. The fuel injector is £26 and the blue laminate is £2. Why? Well, the answer is simple. The AK-47 fuel injector is far less common than the blue laminate. It drops less often from crates, and because of that, its value is inherently higher. There are also other factors which determine where an item sits value-wise, such as the original gun's effective use in-game, as well as a damage float point of said skin. But a lot of the time, they usually follow the simple rule: if it's less common, it's more valuable. Every way in which the economy works on Steam benefits Valve. If you unbox a crate, the money from the key goes straight to Valve. If you buy an item on the Steam market, Valve takes 10% of the transaction. If you sell the item for keys via trading, well, the keys originally came from Valve. If you unbox a knife and it's worth a shit ton, even if you sell it via PayPal or some third-party skins for money site, Valve will still benefit, as you bought the key in the first place, and as far as they're concerned, this is the exact same outcome as if you just kept the knife. While I don't like the system or the way it's controlled and manipulated by Valve, I do, however, like the idea of skins, and I feel like their addition to the game isn't bad per se, especially when you consider that there are some great skins you can buy for really cheap on the Steam market. I myself have never spent more than £2 on a skin. That happens to be the same price as a key. Why take a risk unboxing? There is a 95% chance you're just going to waste money, and a 5% chance you might get something worth more than the original price of the key. While I accept CSGO's economy for what it is, I'm really starting to get fed up of it leaking into other games. In the last few years, I can't even count how many games have tried to employ a crate system into their games. Just off the top of my head, H1Z1, Payday 2, Killing Floor 2, Gears of War 4, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, Rocket League, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, and fucking Overwatch. And that's just off the top of my head! Imagine if I found an actual list. Like, Jesus. Remember when you used to be able to unlock special characters in Gears of War by just beating the game or getting certain achievements by playing the game? Well, in Gears 4, the entire system is based off these crates with drops. Drops have rarity and value, just like Counter-Strike. But this isn't a Steam game. This is a Windows Store game, meaning you can't sell the item. Meaning they're entirely fucking worthless. And their value stems purely from the perspective of the end user. And yes, these crates can be earned by just playing the game. They don't need a key to unlock, you can just play the game and unbox them. It's easy, right? But obviously, if you're willing to fork over some money, they're not gonna say no. But here's the real kicker with Gears of War. In Counter-Strike, some of the guns really do feel like a piece of art. I feel like a ton of work and time went into these. By comparison, Gears of War 4's gun skins are just fucking lazy. They don't look good, they aren't thematic, and they just end up making the game look fucking tacky. I mean, look at this! Is this a joke? It's just a mess of colours. What the fuck? Battlefield 1 is the exact same. At least the skins in Battlefield 1 are actually thematic, though. You get the same bullshit luck crates, again, you can earn them in-game very slowly. But of course, you can pay for them with real-world money. And EA, good job on adding the microtransactions to Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 after release. That way the microtransactions didn't negatively affect the review scores. Clever thinking. I should have done that. Oh wait, I'm not a scummy publisher. As if microtransactions weren't bad enough anyway. I feel like they've gotten 1,000 times worse in these last 2 years. This trend of crate-based microtransactions needs to stop. I get the impression that publishers feel they need to put systems like this in place because of how much money it makes and how successful they see it is in other games like Counter-Strike. In their mind, why let the player just buy the skin they want for $2 when they can make them gamble over and over until they get it? But what this does, especially in the case of Gears of War 4, is completely ruin the thematic nature of the game. The skins look silly and out of place. By all means, make skins. But don't make them look ridiculous. It undermines the artistic direction of the original game. And I shit you not, as I made this video, Valve released the glove update for Counter-Strike.